Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at Legacy.com in the third week of January 2026. Visit Legacy.com to read full obituaries for most of the people featured in this video and leave your own condolences on their Legacy page. Musician Kenny Morris died in January 2026 at the age of 68. He was the founding drummer for Siouxsie and the Banshees, playing on tracks like Hong Kong Garden and Playground Twist. Morris is being remembered for his tribal-style drumming, which strongly influenced the development of post-punk and new wave. Gymnast Jim Hartung died January 10, 2026 at his home in Lincoln, Nebraska. He died of a heart attack at the age of 65. He won an Olympic gold medal in 1984 as part of the U.S. men's gymnastics team, the only time the U.S. team has ever won gold in men's team gymnastics. Hartung is also being remembered for his standout college career at the University of Nebraska. He led the Cornhuskers to national team championships in 4 consecutive years. Fashion designer Valentino Garavani, better known simply as Valentino, died January 19, 2026 at his home in Rome at the age of 93. He founded the great fashion house Valentino, where he became known for the quiet elegance of the gowns he designed for notable women like Jacqueline Kennedy, Julia Roberts, Princess Diana, and many more. Garavani is being remembered for his signature shade of red, dubbed Rosso Valentino. Baseball player Wilbur Wood died January 17, 2026 at a hospital in Burlington, Massachusetts at the age of 84. He was a 3-time All-Star pitcher for the Chicago White Sox in the 1960s and 70s, known for his knuckleball. Wood is being remembered as a fan favorite who set modern records for number of games started and innings pitched. Mathematician Gladys West died January 17, 2026 at the age of 95. In the 1970s and 80s, she worked on precisely calculating the Earth's shape. Her findings later became the backbone of GPS technology. West is being remembered as one of the hidden figures who quietly helped change the world, only receiving recognition years after her biggest achievements. Musician Rob Hirst died in January 2026 after fighting pancreatic cancer at the age of 70. He was the longtime drummer for Midnight Oil, the Australian rock band known for hits like Beds Are Burning and Blue Sky Mine. Hirst is being remembered for his powerful and creative drumming, especially his memorable solo in the 1983 track Power and the Passion. Musician Ralph Towner died January 18, 2026 in Rome at the age of 85. He was a guitarist with the eclectic ensemble Oregon, blending jazz with the sounds of world music, classical, new age, and more. Towner is being remembered as a virtuoso who also performed with the Paul Winter Consort, Weather Report, and others. Musician Stephen "Cat" Coore died January 18, 2026 at the age of 69. He co-founded the reggae band Third World and played guitar on hits like Now That We've Found Love, 96 Degrees in the Shade, and Try Ja Love. Coore is being remembered as a cultural ambassador for his home of Jamaica, bringing its sounds to the world. Filmmaker Roger Allers died January 17, 2026 at his home in Santa Monica, California. He died after a short illness at the age of 76. He was known for his work in animation, including as the co-director of Disney's The Lion King and director of Open Season and The Prophet. Allers is being remembered as one of the driving forces in the Disney Renaissance. In addition to his work with The Lion King, he also contributed to The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and many others. Hockey player Phil Goyette died January 17, 2026 at the age of 92. He won 4 Stanley Cups during his 7 seasons with the Montreal Canadiens in the 1950s and 60s. Goyette is also being remembered for his seasons with the New York Rangers, St. Louis Blues, and Buffalo Sabres. Some of the most touching and memorable obituaries we saw this week at Legacy came from local communities all over America. Those include this lifelong lover of reading, who kept a hospitality journal, wrote 7 bilingual children's books, and volunteered with an audio news service for the visually impaired. This beloved mother and grandmother from Atlanta, whose remarkable long life included work as a public school teacher, a postal clerk, and a real estate agent. And this U.S. Army veteran, whose obituary tells many fascinating stories of his service, including being one of the oldest people serving in Baghdad's Green Zone. At Legacy.com, any family can publish an obituary in honor of a loved one's memory, online and in local newspapers everywhere. Just visit Legacy.com and select your local community. In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 5 years ago this week, baseball player Hank Aaron died at the age of 86. He was an all-time great with the Milwaukee and Atlanta Braves. His record of 755 career home runs stood for 33 years, and he was a 25-time All-Star. Ten years ago this week, musician Glenn Frey died at the age of 67. He was a co-founder of the Eagles, singing lead on classic tracks like Take It Easy and Tequila Sunrise, and his solo hits included Smuggler's Blues and The Heat Is On. 20 years ago this week, singer Wilson Pickett died at the age of 64. He was a great of 60s soul music, known for hits like In the Midnight Hour, Land of a Thousand Dances, and Mustang Sally. "50 years ago this week, singer, actor, and activist Paul Robeson died at the age of 77. He starred in Showboat on Broadway and in the film adaptation, and the song Old Man River was written specifically for his deep and resonant voice. Actress Patricia Neal was born 100 years ago this week. She died in August 2010 at the age of 84. She won an Academy Award for her performance in HUD opposite Paul Newman, and her other films included Breakfast at Tiffany's and The Day the Earth Stood Still. Actor and bodybuilder Steve Reeves was born 100 years ago this week. He died in May 2000 at the age of 74. After being crowned Mr. Universe in 1950, he starred in sword and sandal movies like Hercules, Goliath and the Barbarians, and The Trojan Horse. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in New Jersey have been lowered to honor the memory of dedicated legislator and public servant Dick Zimmer. Flags in Kansas have been lowered to honor the memory of former Emporia Mayor Evora Wheeler. Flags in Louisiana have been lowered to honor the memory of former District Attorney, Judge, and State Senator, the Honorable Robert Bob Kostelka. Flags in North Dakota have been lowered to honor the memory of former Governor Allen I. Olson. Flags in Kansas have been lowered to honor the memory of former State Representative and Kansas Department of Transportation Secretary Richard Carlson. Flags in New Jersey have been lowered to honor the memory of public servant and the longest-serving member in the history of the New Jersey legislature, Governor Dick Cody. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. Follow Legacy.com on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.